Doom, 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 doom. Welcome back to the Off the Top of My Head podcast. That's right, everybody. This is a podcast now because I honestly don't know what else to call this other than me spitballing. Welcome back to Off the Top of My Head. I'm your host, William Brandt, and like the earlier Sonic Lost World playthrough on my channel, go check it out if you're interested. I am foregoing any sense of naming conventions and consistency because I can't keep consistency for shit. Now let's just hop right into it now that that's out of the way. So, you may have been wondering why I kind of started out this episode with a little jingle. Well, that's because today we're talking about music, but not just any music, music in video games. Now, music in any form of entertainment media serves two purposes: an enhancer and an immerser. Music in those types of media is supposed to both enhance your experience and immerse you into the world. And I think that's more so in the case of TV shows, movies, and especially video games. A good video game soundtrack can make or break a player's experience. The gameplay may be good, but if the soundtrack is just not good at all, it kind of ruins the experience for a lot of players. Which is why music, to me, in any video game that I play, is an important factor as to how much I enjoy it. For instance, with our recent Sonic Lost World playthrough, plugins, am I right, guys? I really pointed out how much I really liked the music, because even though the levels themselves weren't always great, the music that itself was always there to help make the experience better. Now, music in games can be really varied and diverse because of all the different genres of games. And a lot of times you have to mix soundtracks to the specific gameplay on screen. This is where I would like to categorize music into sort of genre specifics. So, for relative purposes, let's say you have your fighting game music, you have your open world collectathon platformer music, retro platformer music, or retro games in general, RPGs, etc. It's all out there. You can find so many different categories of it, but what you hear is supposed to immerse you and enhance your experience in both the gameplay and the world of the game that you're playing. Now, what I mean by genres is that the specific type of music, the style, is different for whatever you're doing. So let's say you take a collectathon platformer, like SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's a bit of an oddball one there, but Jellyfish Fields, the first level you play in the game, it's got a nice, bit of a slow, vibey tone with very like chill, like relaxed instruments with like ukuleles, guitars, and a nice present bass. I don't know why I'm questioning myself there. I'm explaining the music. But the music has this nice, slow, chill vibe, and it's supposed to ease you into the world of Bikini Bottom, easing you into exploring each level and finding all sorts of nooks and crannies and secrets, collectibles, immersing you into the way the characters play, immersing you into the world of, well, Bikini Bottom. It's that slow, vibey tune that really gets players immersed into the game and the world, and it makes them keep playing. And good soundtracks build upon this. The later tracks in the game only further enhance your experience because each style of music may, all in all, seem similar, but it fits the locations you're at. Jellyfish Field, you have this nice vibey tune that sort of fits this open nature exploration. And then you go into somewhere like the Mermalair, and then it turns into this James Bond spy movie type music that's also got a nice quick jazz vibe to it. It really gets you pumped and excited to explore the Mermalair, this underground layer of these two old coot superheroes. And it's just the coolest experience that's only enhanced by the music. Now, I could go on about Battle for Bikini Bottom soundtrack all day, because that soundtrack is an underrated, bona fide slapper, in my opinion. If I were to, and I think I'm going to do this throughout this episode, but if I were to create a top like 3 songs in the game, Murmelayer, that's definitely number 1, followed by The Dutchman's Graveyard, and then the final boss music. Whew, that final boss music is so tense. It's dramatic. It really pumps you up to face this final challenge that's threatening all of Bikini Bottom. And you know what? I think I'm going to segue off of this. Boss battle music is equally important as normal gameplay music. And the way you handle boss battle music is also just as varied as you would handle locations and styles. For instance, you can have a boss battle that's kind of like a mini boss. Say the Koopalings theme from New Super Mario Bros. And I'm just going to say all of them because they're all practically the same. But you kind of get this feeling of like you're fighting this like mid-world boss that's not really all that challenging, but they're there as a obstacle to stop you from progressing. And you can kind of feel that with their kind of like quick upbeat tunes. And then you have boss battles that really like sell their scope, but not just of their abilities, but of the locations. It's like, say, Engines Battle in Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. It's completely rock band and rock concert themed, to where the music is kind of going along with what the boss itself is doing, which is honestly one of my favorite parts about that fight. And it only builds upon that the further and further you go on into the fight. Location is just as important as the boss itself. And then there's bosses that really sell the stakes at hand. Bosses where the music itself tells you that you're up against an undefeated threat, a world-ending threat, and you're the only one that can stop it. And there's plenty of ways that that type of stake can be portrayed. It can be in a completely new theme that makes the character or boss that you're fighting all the more menacing. A good example of this, I would say, is God-Shattering Star from Fire Emblem Three Houses. This God-Shattering Star in Three Houses, you don't really know all too much about Nemesis. And Fire Emblem tracks are known for implementing, modern Fire Emblem that is, are known for implementing vocals into their tracks. I mean, look at Fire Emblem Fates. And it's kind of like building upon like Lost in Thoughts, Azura's song in both End of All and the normal version is kind of like a huge, not only like a final challenge, but also a big piece of history that's fighting against itself, in a sense. God-Shattering Star, on the other hand, starts off with these like menacing pulses and drums, followed by like these really loud and bombastic Latin lyrics. I think they're Latin. Don't quote me on that. But it's just like bombastic and menacing. And it perfectly fits Nemesis, this conqueror, this ravager that's caused so much bloodshed for his own gain. I probably should have put a spoiler warning at the beginning of this, but my fault. And yeah, and it perfectly fits not only his character, but also the map you find him on. That's just filled with this bog is just filled with tons of poison and enemies that are just super hard to defeat. It's honestly super menacing. And then, but following up with that, there are boss battles that are like that not only sell the world-ending stake, but also make you feel a sense of dread. And I think one of the perfect examples of a world or universe-ending threat that fills you with a sense of dread and determination to defeat it is the final Bowser fight from Super Mario Galaxy 1. Now, I may just be a sucker for opera singing, intense opera singing that is, in video game music, but holy crap, the beginning of this song really just sells the state of the universe and what could happen if Bowser was to succeed. And it's only amplified by the fact that you're fighting inside of a hollowed out star. It's super intense. And then the main theme just kicks in. The main melody of the song just kicks in, and it's just like pumping you up to finally face this final challenge that's been basically taunting you since the beginning of the game. Now, while there are ways to make new melodies and sell boss fights and locations, there are also OSTs and soundtracks and songs that use leitmotifs and continually remix them to sell the similar scenarios. Hey guys, so I noticed in the middle of editing this video that I didn't really explain what a leitmotif was. So a leitmotif is like a recurring like melody or theme in a musical composition. So like any music piece in general, it's a recurring theme and melody in the song pretty much. So like so a lot of times leitmotifs are established at the very beginning of a game, which is what we'll use the example of, and they keep remixing that theme to where it sounds different, but the melodies are still similar to the point where they are almost identical. With that out of the way, enjoy the rest of the video. Pacman World 2, for example, probably one of my most underrated platformers and soundtracks of all time. Does every single track in the game, every single track, and that's not even a joke. If you look at every single track in the game, you take a good listen to it, and you start from the menu music, and you keep going, every single track uses the same theme from the main menu theme. The dun 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 dun, like that theme, or just maybe just similar variations of it, but they remix it over and over and over again to fit wherever location you're in. And it can either be bouncy and chirpy, like in the Bedoying Woods level, my favorite level in the game, by the way, that just happy chirpy music that just amplifies when you're bouncing on those trampolines. I love bouncing on those trampolines, man. It is so much fun, and the music is just so bouncy, and it feels like I'm almost bouncing along to the beat of the song. And then you have some songs like in the lava stages of the game where it's kind of like dark and gritty and kind of gloomy too, but you can still hear the dun 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 dun, like that. It's there. It's continuously there, and it never gets old because they keep using the main theme, the main melodies and themes of the first song in new and creative ways, and it works spectacularly. And then going back to the world and universe ending stakes sort of style music, leitmotifs can work with that too. And there's no better series that does that than the Sonic games, really. Now, maybe not the original Genesis games, or even Mania, or some of the games that are just not like that at all. But some games take their final boss theme, remix them to where it's almost like you can feel the stakes, the fate of the world in your hands whenever you fight the boss. This is present in Sonic 06's final Solaris fight, Sonic Unleashes Gaia fight, even Force's final fight. Not so much, but if you listen hard enough, you'll hear it. But where it's arguably the most prevalent and arguably the best the Sonic series has ever nailed it is in the second phase, the final boss of Sonic Colors. That theme is just like, you can literally just say it's a remix. It's a different version of Reach for the Stars, the main theme for the game. But there's so much done to it to where like you can really feel that if you do not stop Eggman here and now, the world is doomed. And you're just pumped, and the song just keeps growing and growing and gets more climactic. And then it just reaches a point where it fills you with that determination, that energy that you need, that you are pumped up by to stop Eggman and save the world. And of course, it's the same for both the Sonic Unleashed, '06, Forces, and even Lost World. Even though Lost World doesn't really work off of leitmotifs all that much, although I will say plugins again, the soundtrack is really good. But yeah, it's just there's so much you can do in simple like bosses that really just sell levels for what they are. And like you have all this, but like some soundtracks go even further. And in like the Crash series, they make songs for every single level in the game, and that's absolutely because there's like 30 plus levels in this game, and they do something really unique. Is that sometimes the song itself will start to remix itself while you're playing to fit wherever environment you're in. And I think that's a super neat idea, and I even found out that some SpongeBob games do it. Small world, huh? But now that we've kind of talked about platformers and, well, mostly platformers, RPG music, it's hard to really put a nail on RPG music because a lot of the time the battle themes are just battle themes, and a lot of times they're good. Kingdom Hearts, for example, makes different battle themes for each world, and they fit, and they're nice, they're quick paced, they oftentimes have different types of percussion and instruments implemented to really feel the rush of combat for every world. And Kingdom Hearts already does music spectacularly, even for the boss fights. But what I'm mainly getting at here for RPGs is character themes. Character themes are where, in my opinion, RPGs really shine. Sephiroth's theme, Final Fantasy VII. Could you name a more iconic theme? I mean, all it takes for a lot of people, including myself, is to hear the first 3 beats of the song, the dun 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 dun, like that. That's all we need to hear, and it's like, oh, that's Sephiroth's theme. That's One Winged Angel. And it's just you attach these themes and songs to specific characters, and RPGs really sell that well because these songs are supposed to fit the character they're portraying. One Winged Angel does that perfectly. Now, I can't really describe all that much in detail about exactly who Sephiroth is because I still myself have not finished Final Fantasy VII, but from what I can tell, thanks to his portrayal in Smash Brothers, he's ruthless. The dude killed so many people just to serve some ulterior motive that I haven't gotten to yet, and I don't know the full story of him yet. Honestly, I've kind of spoiled myself already. I mean, come on, his final smash is literally his final boss. Come on, guys. But yeah, Sephiroth is a perfect. The song just feels ruthless, and there's this big air of mystery and cruelness around the song that really fits his character, from what I've seen. Don't quote me on this. But one franchise that I think definitely does really good with character themes and just battle music in general is actually the Pokemon series. Bleh. Bleh. Now, we can all point and laugh and bash Pokemon for what it is now. It's definitely not what it was even like over 10 years. It definitely is not what it was a decade ago. That's for sure. But one thing we can say that's been the most consistent about Pokemon is the music. The soundtracks of every single game is always spectacular, even the spin-offs, but we're not opening that can of worms right now. There's this video would be longer than it already is. This is probably already going to be my longest off the top episode anyways. But Pokemon does a great job of character and battle themes. Like character themes, look at Pokemon Sun. Whenever you're battling How, the music's just got this nice chirpy. It's chirpy and it's chirpy and vibey. It's not tense or anything. It really symbolizes that you're fighting a friend. You're fighting a close friend, and it's just a friendly battle between you two. It's just both of you trying to get stronger. And then you switch over to someone like Gladion, where the music is kind of, upbeat. The pitches are a little bit higher. There's a bit of a darker melody to it. And you really get the feeling that, hey, this guy's not joking around. He's kind of edgy. He's out the edge, but human form. And the theme really sells him as a character. And art and like even his Lucamine's theme, second theme, and whenever she's like bonded to the I think it was a Nihiligo. Yeah, it was a Nihiligo. Whenever she was bonded to the Nihiligo, it was almost alien sounding, but it still sounded like crazy and cryptic, just like her character was. And I just think that's super cool. Character themes really sell the Pokemon rivals and the Pokemon characters. The champion themes, okay, maybe champion themes don't really sell the characters, but they sell the final challenge. Gym leaders are obstacles that you face between each and every city, each and every bit of story that's preventing you from progressing. That mini boss thing I brought up earlier applies here as well. But I think the legendary Pokemon battle themes easily top the character battle themes. Unless it's Zinnia. Zinnia's battle theme will forever go on as one of the best pieces of music the Pokemon series has ever pumped out. And it only gets better. Trust me. But the legendary Pokemon battle themes are ultimately are way better at selling and portraying the legendary Pokemon that you're battling. Arceus, oh my god, like there are so many memes, but they're true. Of like you are never supposed to hear Arceus's battle theme, never. And once you hear it, you kind of get this feeling like, holy crap, is this real? Am I actually fighting like God himself? It is just the theme itself is super eerie. And then you have themes like Solgaleo and Lunala. I'm probably going to kill myself for saying Solgaleo when it's Solgaleo, but whatever. Like those themes sell like the otherworldly and spatial elements of these legendaries, which is, they're what they're representing. They're representing the sun and the moon. And then probably one of the I'll get to it in a second, but I got another example that kind of just popped in my head. Ho-Oh's battle theme. Probably one of my favorite songs of both Gen 1 and Gen 2. It just really sells the culture surrounding Ho-Oh. But now we're going to get to it. Easily one of the best character Pokemon portraying songs is Giratina's theme. Giratina's theme is super, super eerie. This dragon that has been locked away for causing chaos among the world, and you just hear all these creepy and eerie melodies. Like some people, if you listen close enough, you'll actually hear like certain sound effects added in the song that just make it oh so more creepy. There's one part of the song where it sounds like footsteps that are getting closer to you. There's a part of the song that sounds like a heart monitor flatlining. There's just like at the beginning of the song too, there's this like almost ghostly wailing that sort of descends into the main melody. Before it does, it kind of goes not like that, because that would be weird, but in a more like creepy, high pitched, almost piccolo piercing sound. It's just super, super eerie. And like that's all. I'm honestly just gonna cap it there. That's really good. Now, there's one more category of music that I'm going to cover that's really, really hit or miss, and that's actually fighting game music. Now, if we're talking fighting game music, it's usually upbeat, and it's usually portraying either the arena or what character you're fighting. Very similar to RPGs. Now, I can't say much about most fighting games myself because I haven't played them. Because generally, fighting games aren't my forte. Super Smash Brothers and Rivals of Aether, however, I am familiar with. Rivals of Aether does a good job of not only creating upbeat tunes and fighting and remixes, but they kind of bit crush them in a way to where they still sound almost retro. And I think that's really cool. Smash, on the other hand, is a completely different beast. And if I were to go in complete detail of Smash, we'd have to have a whole other episode dedicated to it. But Smash's remix, well, we're going to talk specifically about the remixes for Smash Bros. These remixes are supposed to help the original themes better fit into Smash. And a lot of times, they're really hit or miss. Like some themes you have like, God, let me think. This is the best example actually. The Minecraft remixes. As funny as this sounds, the originals of most of the songs, except for the originals for 2 songs in particular, because the other remixes are really good. The remixes for 2 songs in particular, I think it was Dance of the Blocks. Yeah, Dance of the Blocks and Toys on a Tier. The original songs already sounded great. And what Smash usually does with their remixes is the song is sped up a little, the instrumentation is changed a little, and there's a little bit more percussion. But in my opinion, the already full orchestrated songs of Toys on a Tier and Dance of the Blocks, those songs were already fully orchestrated, and they still sounded like right in place for a fighting game. Smash removing a bunch of the instruments and speeding up the song in the process. The songs are not bad, don't get me wrong, but they aren't as fitting as the originals. However, there are more cases than not where the remix is often just as good, if not better, than the original song. And I don't think there'd be a better way to close out this video talking about Smash than with the most iconic Smash song that's kind of infamous even still now, ever since the game was announced. Gangplank Galleon. How do you take a theme from a game that wasn't really all that upbeat or fast and turn it into a fighting game remix? Well, here's what you do. You say, fuck that. I'm going to go sicko mode on this. Speed up the song to 10 million. Add like super high-pitched brass instruments. And then also add in lyrics, because why not? Let's just make this song as awesome as possible to sell one of the most requested characters ever for Smash. My brain kind of farted there. K. Rool. And the song perfectly fits him too. His kind of goofy, but also like ruthless attitude. And it just perfectly, honest to God, it feels like his moveset was made with that song in mind. Because Jesus Christ, man moves with his own song better than Mario does. But yeah, there's just so many good examples of good music in video games, no matter what you're playing. So, whenever you're playing any game, or say you're playing one of your favorite games, and you haven't gotten the chance to really invest yourself into that soundtrack, stop for a moment and take a deep listen to it. Maybe not in game, but maybe go on YouTube and look at your favorite tracks. It's definitely what I've done. It's what has allowed me to appreciate some of the soundtracks of the games I've played more recently. Go in there, give a deep listen to that soundtrack. Every song. You'll find your favorites, you may not. But one thing's for sure, you'll always have a good time doing it. And you'll always have good ear candy for years to come. Well, that was off the top of my head. I'll see y'all next time.